Okay guys, so chapter 1191 spoilers are out, and it is not calming down over on Elbaf. If anything, bro, it might be getting worse. Emu just got stronger. Gabon just confirmed something horrifying about God Valley. And in the middle of what should have been an execution, somebody just landed a punch on the actual king of the world. So yeah, let's get into it, and if you're new here, drop a like, sub, and hit that bell so you don't miss the full chapter review this Friday, because we are gonna need it. Even the chapter title is kind of a warning sign. It's giving "we are not done yet" energy, like there's still more emus got in the tank. And honestly, after what happens in this chapter, that tracks. We open on the color spread, which, okay, random, but it's the Straw Hats vibing at what's basically an Afro-themed party. Nice little breather image before Oda absolutely does not let us breathe for the rest of the chapter. First real beat, Bibilo. That's the owl we've seen hanging around the Elbaf library. Turns out this bird can actually talk. And that context matters because it explains why Robin called Chopper over in the first place. Bibilo's language clearly isn't something a normal crew member can parse, so you need the one guy on the ship built for cross-species communication. Now here's a theory going around, and I want to stress this is just a theory, not confirmed. Some people think Bibilo might actually be tied to that mystery author we've heard referenced before, the one nobody's ever put a face to. I'm not saying that's locked in, but a talking library owl showing up right when that mystery's still unresolved. Feels like Oda's not being subtle. Meanwhile, over in a different part of the battlefield, Zoro's still locked in with St. Summers, and bro, this is not going well for him. Remember the move he used to put King down back in Wano? He tries it again here, and it just doesn't land. Summers basically no-sells it, and instead of the attack landing clean, it's Zoro who gets sent flying, nullified completely. Which is rough, especially because Summers is fighting with one of the actual legendary swords, Gram. Like, this isn't just some random celestial dragon flex, dude's packing serious hardware. So going in, don't expect Zoro to just steamroll this fight. He's Dehado here, as the source puts it, straight up disadvantaged. Okay, now the main event. This is where the chapter really opens up. After that first clash with Gabon, Emu doesn't just stay still and take it. Emu transforms, and I mean fully commits to it. The body grows in size, 4 new horns sprout on top of the ones already there, and the arms go full-on black, wrapped in this hockey coating that honestly mirrors the exact same trick Emu pulled earlier when copying Luffy's stretched arm attack. So this isn't a new power out of nowhere, it's an escalation of something we already saw, just cranked up. And while all this is happening, Emu is talking to Gabon. Straight up says that back at God Valley, if Emu had known Gabon, young as he was back then, had the potential to become this dangerous, Emu would have killed him right then and there. Should have eliminated him alongside rocks. Which, sit with that for a second, because that's Emu confirming on page that Gabon walking away from God Valley alive was basically a mistake in Emu's eyes. That's how much of a threat current Gabon is. And that tracks with what we're seeing, because Emu flat out confirms Gabon is stronger now than he was back then. Even with age technically limiting his body, dude's still gotten more overpowered, not less. Emu even compliments him for it, praising the fact that Gabon survived that earlier clash and only lost an arm, when by Emu's logic, that exchange should have killed him outright. Gabon's response? Basically, yeah, he knows, but he's not exactly thrilled about it, because apparently Emu managed to dodge his slashes. And that's a bigger deal than it sounds, because remember that blood we saw in the last chapter? Turns out that wasn't a clean hit, that was just a graze. Because Emu fully evaded Gabon's 8,000 slash attack, the one they're calling Grimtron. Emu's defense is just built different right now. So knowing he's not getting through clean, Gabon tells Luffy to get everyone out, grab the giants, retreat, live to fight another day. And obviously if you know Luffy even a little, you know exactly how well that's gonna go over. He's not running. He wants to stay and back Gabon up instead of bailing like a coward. And honestly, peak Luffy behavior. Which does not sit well with Emu because now Emu's prepping a brand new attack specifically meant to finally end both of them, Gabon and Luffy, together, right there. Like, this is the kill shot moment. And then, right as Emu's about to launch it, Hadruddin comes flying into frame out of nowhere and punches Emu clean in the face, bro. Let that sink in for 1 second, because that punch is the entire reason Gabon and Luffy don't die right here. And if this scene feels familiar, it's because we've seen this exact setup before. Someone landing one clean hit on Emu, only to get absolutely destroyed in return and never manage to land a second one. So when Emu turns around and tells Hadrudin to run, not to throw his life away, that's not an empty threat. That's Emu speaking from a track record. Hadrudin's answer, though, doesn't care. Not scared, because even if he dies right here, Loki's still out there. Except, and this is the twist, Hadrudin doesn't actually know Loki's already back up. Loki recovered, made it into the fight, and now this is a 4-on-1 battle against the strongest being in the entire story. Genuinely insane numbers to even consider throwing at Emu, and then we get the Luffy piece of this. Turns out he had food stashed this whole time. Makes sense, honestly, since Emu never gave him a window to actually eat it mid-fight, so the second he gets the chance, he pulls it out, looks like he'd been storing it using his own haki, packing away way more than you'd think he could carry, and just eats. And because we're talking about Luffy's ridiculous regenerative capability here, that's basically an instant heal. Grave wounds gone just from getting a meal in. And that's what sets up the actual finishing move of the chapter. Luffy, Loki, and Hadrudin all launched the same combination attack the three generals used back in the day: Gerd, Goldberg, and Rodo, the original giant warrior pirates. It's called Goku Sovereignty, and normally that technique needs 3 separate weapon users combining their strikes to even work. But Luffy doesn't fight with a weapon, he fights with his own body. So whatever he's throwing into this combo, it's either his fists wrapped in haki or he's grabbing something off the battlefield to make it count. And with Loki bringing his actual weapon, Ragnar, into it too, this might honestly be the strongest version of this technique we've ever seen play out. Bigger than Big Mom and Kaido's version. Bigger than the one Dory and Broggy pulled off back in Little Garden. But, and this is the real question the chapter leaves us on, does it actually work? Does it get through? Because Emu's base form defense was already absurd, the haki on that thing was already off the charts before any of this, and now we're talking about a bigger, upgraded, 4-horned version of Emu. That's a scary matchup to bet against. We're going to have to sit with that question until the full chapter review drops this Friday, so make sure you're subscribed and that bell's on so you catch it the second it's live. That's everything for today. I'm Mypax. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day.